today is a very lucky day, and actually we have total 4 of us. The Jing board masters. We have MasterDeHuang, the Jing, and the Jie Sifu, who are in the board to listen to this sharing. But actually, just now for Sister Michelle and Sister Effie for the sharing, I can say that you all are very diligent. As on the past week, Masters mentioned regarding the indolence, real hindrance of diligence. But I think through of the sisters who sharing, actually I can hear that you all are very diligent in walking through the teaching on your daily life, and you already live up the principles, and which is like Sister Effie, who you are, promoting the vegetarian meals and so on, and you are still unwavering to keep moving, never retreat on this project, and you just want to get more people to be a vegetarian. I think this is a very good thing. But anyway, for the Master's dimension on the last, I think the episode of the 695 episodes, and I remember Master's dimension regarding she did always mention actually one thought give rise to myriad actions. Actually, as our thought will affect our daily decisions and relationship deeply, and we will make a better decision in all aspects of our life if we are clearer about the foundation of our own thinking. But the problem with it is that we tend to react quickly to things that happen around us. So what happened to me just like today is the Chinese lunar or 15th February. But actually, as you know, that for the morning recitation chanting, actually we do have a circumambulate through the main hall for one circle. And I think this is not easy for me to be concentrate while I'm walking through, following my front, in front of me, the masters, the steps, which is, I think I have to walk slowly and, be concentrate and, be mindful on my every single step. I think this is, it always give rise a thought for me regarding this morning. What should I say? And is it possible to make the time, on time to finish my presentation? This is, all the complicated thoughts which is arise from in my mind. So I think it's not easy to be concentrated and focused on doing something which is very simple, just walking. So I think through the circumambulate for this, meditation walk is not that easy for me. So as same to what Masters mentioned. So let's see, actually for those one thought, and just imagine that as many of our Tzu Chi volunteers who live in a state of confusion in the past as well. Just like, before you get through to learn the Buddhist teaching. Just like imagine, I think we do have some problems, which is, you encounter is very difficult. For example, just imagine that before, early in the morning, before you're going to work, you are tripped on your child's bike in the driveway, and maybe your child is run to help you, but apologizing to you, but instead you yell at him and you say bad words enough to be heard by your wife, and end up with either you're missing your morning bus or almost getting in an accident for driving too fast on the road when you're going to your work. Or then when you arrive at your work, maybe you are late for some time, and you will become unprotective for the day because you still are in an angry situation. And maybe your team leader will reprimand you, and because of what happened in the morning, and you yell back at your leader, and when you came home, you will be professional suspension with a cold treatment from your family, and a sour day start. So just imagine alternately that when you trip, you stop up and you breathe slowly and you forgive your child and say, be careful next time. and remember to keep your bike inside the garage, and you won't be starting an unnecessary argument that cannot solve, that actually happened. You won't miss the bus or hurry through traffic, and you will take the control of your day. And maybe you can be happy if we become proactive, not react to what is happening to us. So we have to, we need to have a right view of things, and that we can always choose not to be affected by what is happening around us, but to use what we have around us towards our growth. I think, of course, for all these events which I described just now, actually this is just a story that are imaginary. But for ourselves, we have created all of our retribution. So whether it's negative or positive, the karmic causes we have created will lead us to reputation of retribution of the suffering and joy. So like I mentioned just now, I actually really like to this passage, this phrase, which is Master's dimension. The indolence will hinders our diligence, and the diligence is a cure for indolence. And what does it mean for? Actually, for those, I definitely believe that for those who there are some different for those who listen to the Dharma and those who don't. And for the example, well, this passage on the sutra text, saying that for those who are arrogant and indolent, and for those who cling to the will of self, the Buddha say, don't teach them this sutra at this moment, because they will not believe, even though they listen, but they will not have a deep faith on this, because they never gone through this experience. So for this sutra, the test for these things, I just want to go further with what Masters give us more elaborate about this. So actually the Buddha say, Masters mentioned that the Buddha say that when it comes to people with deviant understanding, or the people who are indolent or arrogant and so on, for the time being, we should not teach them, for fear that after listening, they would be slander the teaching, which would result in negative retributions. Which is, I think this will not happen to Sister Effie or Sister Michelle, because I through their sharing, I can know that they totally have a very deep faith on what Masters taught us. So definitely she wouldn't be the kind of arrogant people or indolent people, because they are very diligent in doing what is the path. And I think for this, I think maybe we all know that the people who have the kind of character, the very good example is the Devadatta, because Master mentioned in the past, for this Devadatta, even though he is a disciple of Buddha, but he not only want to destroy the right Dharma, and Devadatta, he also wanted to ruin the Sangha and even want to harm the Buddha, so that he want to create a new Sangha by himself. So these things will happen even during the Buddha's time. And what about the time that happen now in our day? So I think maybe we have some people who are still not agree with what Tzu Chi have done, or maybe they do have some group of people who are not really very accepted what our masters, are doing regarding what our masters have done in the society or the community. So it's the same idea. So for this, following to this sutra, actually, when we know that there have 5,000 people who left the assembly of this Lotus Dharma assembly. So Master say this 5,000, this is similarly to this group of people. They are, under this category of arrogance, because this kind of people, they put themselves above others, and everyone is beneath them. So Master say people like this are self-important and they are lacking in virtues. So this must be very careful for us. Are we kind of people when we know something and just want to show off, or when you are very good in recitation of a certain sutra text, and you just when you just want to show people that you know these words and you're very well understanding of these principles, and but yet you never take any action. We this kind consider as this kind of people. This must be very be mindful for what we are acting in our when we interact or encounter with people. They must be very So actually, as we know that the Lotus Sutra is intended to teach and to guide all of us to walk the Bodhisattva path. But Masters also mentioned the Bodhisattva path, the fundamental practice is to go among people, just like what sisters Effie or Michelle have done. They've been, live up the principles in the daily life, and they're not just preaching the principles, but they are doing acting, personally involved in and to join. So definitely they have some difference. But if for the people who capabilities are not mature, and so they must say we should not be in a hurry to teach them and to to listen to this wondrous Dharma, because we must await that the proper causes and conditions. I think I just want to, before I end, I just want to share the story regarding, as Master say, even though we know Lotus Sutra is intended to teach and to guide all of us to walk the Bodhisattva path, but when our capability are not mature, so we must say we should not be in a hurry to teach or to learn this at this moment. We must await the proper causes and conditions. And I remember through that episode, Masters did mention a story, a very touching story regarding this saying about the Taiwan culture of agriculture to give rice for Tzu Chi to do the distribute the rice for Tzu Chi to distribute to the impoverished country around the world. So one of the country was the Philippines. So among the recipients was one of our volunteers. She also registered as the recipient to receive the 20 kilograms of the pack of rice. And yet, after she had received it, and she encountered a couple who had lost their home in a fire for several months ago, and they were homeless. So the couple, this homeless couple, actually, they're relying on collected the recyclables item to sell for money. And this is what they earn for the living. And each time, they can only earn about 20 Philippines pesos. This is what I get from what Masters mentioned. This is how they survive from day to day. But when this volunteer who received her bag of rice of 20 kilograms, and she thought of this homeless couple, and instead of taking the rice home, so this volunteer, she delivered the rice, the bag of rice to this couple. So because of this very wondrous affinity between this homeless couples with Tzu Chi, they encounter each other. So after that, these homeless couples, they would set aside a portion of 1 day's worth of the recyclable items and give it to Tzu Chi. So our volunteer asked them, so why don't you sell this recyclable item yourselves? This is your, your money. You can save for your living. But this couple say this is only a small portion of what they collect on 1 day each week, but it's not is also an important the opportunity for them to take part in helping others. This is what they can contribute, or very little. This is what I thought, the effort they can do. So Master say, seeing instead of some people who only hear the Dharma and they use these words to show off that they understand all the text, or they can recite the sutra and so on. So compared to this homeless couple, and Master say, who are actually could live up the value of life. So if there were more people in the society like them, like this couple, who could express Dharma through their action, I think there would be no difficult for everyone to practice good deeds. Even though the words is so simple, but I think if you want to do, I think it's not that easy. At least, is it everyone willing to donate some, the 1 out of 10 from your salary, and are you really want to give out and to donate for some charity and to do good things? This is up to our choices. Yeah, it depends on what we think. So again, I think I recently I really like to say that as we know, action always speak louder than words. This is turning the Dharma well is not just standing on the stage and speaking and saying, thus have I heard, so and so, and this teaching. I think the more important thing is like what Sisters Michelle and Sister Effie say, is to practice. And not just practice, I think the more important thing for me right now, I think, is to listening, and to learn to listen to people's voice and to listen to people's experience, what they have gone through. I think this is more important, because as we are not yet to have enough experience to share more to others, I think it's important for me to listen, especially to listen to Master's teaching, so that I can, like a sponge, that I can absorb the Dharma, the essence of the Dharma water, and I try to, to be nourish my personal mind. I think this is what I would like to share for this today. So I think I over to, is it Brother Joe or Sister Shajin or Sister Lee? So anyway, thanks for your time to listen to my sharing. Thank you. Thank you.
感恩 so much, MasterDeHuang sharing. 感恩 for the great insights. Indeed, action speaks louder than words. And Master also reminded us also on the faith. Today, our next sharer, Brother BroChewKianLee from Singapore, he will be sharing his journey with Tzu Chi on faith and affinity, also resonating closely with Huang Sifu and also the Sister Lily and the team sharing today. 好，感恩。Over to you, Brother Chew.
Good morning, Masters in Airport, and good morning, the brothers and sisters in the Dharma. Today I'll be sharing on the journey with Tzu Chi that I have gone through, and not only me, but I've gone through together with my wife, or we'll call it as home sister. And the journey I'm going through has a lot to do with affinity and faith. And today, earlier, sister sharing was a lot on faith. So there's a very strong similarity in that, in terms of these sharing of the faith. I believe every one of us have a journey with Tzu Chi. My sharing will be a very simple one that I've experienced, and the challenges I've gone through. So, to start, what I can say is that at a quite a young age, somewhere in 1986, end of 86, my home sister, through an ex-colleague, introduced her to Southern Buddhism, or we call it Theravada Buddhism. And we went there first, and we went to a Thai Buddhist temple, and it was very serene. And yeah, she was very happy there. And then she said I should go there at first I was skeptical because I grew up in the practice of Taoism, and during the primary and secondary school days, I was in a Catholic school, so I was exposed to a lot of Catholicism. But so far, at a young age, I was never interested in any spiritual religion or anything. And then, yes, one day I promised her when the time is right, I'll go down. I went down to take a look. And I was quite happy there because for the first time, I had the opportunity to ask many questions. So as a Buddhist, we want to clear our doubts. So I asked many questions, and the teachers there, and there are many Dharma brothers there, they share with me the insight of Buddhism, and I started to read a lot and found out a lot more. So with that, it's a seed that is planted. As I have to develop my career and children growing up, so we will find that we couldn't go there so often, and beside that, what we have learned in terms of like Pali chanting, and the temple allows us to have a Guan Yin Pusat shrine there, and during festivals of 1st of 15, we can chant the compassionate mantra. There's the Tapicho and the Heart Sutra, the Jing. I'm not good in chanting that, but yeah, I joined them and learned, and quite nice to listen. And then when my children growing up in their primary days, it was somehow coincident that they heard chanting in our house. Then my home sister and I were thinking that, well, it's a calling that we have to bring them to the temple to let them attend the Dharma lessons. So in their younger days, we planted a seed for them to learn the Dharma. So that's why we attend the morning service and do the offering of the puja and so on. So just a brief introduction of this knowing about Buddhism. So but my sharing is more on the journey with Tzu Chi. Okay. Normally, when children grow up, we are husband and wife, we are alone, weekends, looking for something to do. So we go around Singapore Island to find where is the best tea to drink, or where is the best kaya toast bread cake. So a friend posted in the Facebook and showed a very nice place. Zen design, it looks very nice, and there is Tzu Chi Cafe in Singapore. So we decided to go there and have a cup of flower tea. And from there, we started to know about Tzu Chi. We attended the exhibition 50th anniversary, coincided with the Chinese 7 month. Some of us we call it as Ghost Festival, and look at their drama, how they encourage people not to burn Jaws paper and so on. Okay, so with that, we started to find that it's quite interesting because Tzu Chi has such a long history, which I never knew at all, and started to look at the formations and achievement. So within about 1 hour, I quite like in a sense that what Tzu Chi is doing in terms of the volunteerism to help the poor people. And then we started to say, okay, should we join or not? That's the question. So again, concerns about doubts and all this comes into my mind. Okay, it's a Chinese speaking platform, and I'm able to cope out. And if I can't speak normal Mandarin, how am I going to understand the Dharma in Chinese, which is so profound? So I was thinking, how? So, but at the same time, we also recall, with my home sister said that last time we were saying that when our children grown up, we want to do voluntary work. Although we have done in younger days, we do deliver food to old folks home and all this, but we didn't do that much, to be very honest. So we said, well, this is an opportunity for us to learn about, to go back to what we have taught in the past, to do voluntary work. So that was the beginning in that sense. And then from there we started, okay, join Tzu Chi. So we walk in, we find who is our leader in our zone, and started to have breakfast coffee with them and know about Tzu Chi. And there was one brother was very good. He spent about half a day to explain to us all about Tzu Chi. So even give me the link to get the report from Harvard University about 2 professors who wrote about Tzu Chi mission in China during the there was a flight in the 90s. That really impressed me very much. And then from there, we started to do voluntary work, because we just follow what they did. They say, try every area that you can and see where you're comfortable with. So I started off trying doing voluntary work at one of the Dharma clinics with my daughter. My daughter was a nurse before. So she's still a registered nurse, but she's no longer a nurse. She's an art therapist today, working in one of the hospitals. And then we also learn about what recycling, home recipient visit, and then some of those courses. My home sister attended more than me. I at times I try to avoid, to be honest. But then I said, I'll be your driver. I'll bring you there. I'll bring you back. You know. But at times I do attend. So then I got more and more used to it. And people are very friendly. And then even though I don't understand, I have the opportunity to ask someone to explain to me. So I find that it's not an issue, because it's all about myself, about mindset. So I started to pick up Mandarin in the sense that in terms of communication and listening, after a while, some of the Dharma words, I can remember some of the basic. Those are the important words that can lead us to explore many other areas of the more deeper part of the Dharma. And then doing all this, then one day, we decided to go for a holiday in Taiwan. And there was no intention about visiting Hualien, and I also don't know much at the moment. That was after a few months only. It was about end of early 2017, I would say, the Chinese New Year period. And then my home sister received a call from one of the sisters and say, oh, that you're going to Taiwan, and they need to do some preparation and so on. So my home sister was saying, we are going to Taiwan, but we are not having any plan with any of the Tzu Chi arrangement. She said, oh, she called the wrong person. She called the wrong person. So rather, I don't know whether we call it that affinity, because of this wrong call. Ended up, our trip ended up where we managed to have a chance to visit Master and pay respect to her during the Chinese New Year. I was very new with Tzu Chi at that moment. So my home sister, my eldest daughter, we have the opportunity to be there. We were staying next to the Jing about there's those resort area, and walk over to Tzu Chi. We ourselves just walk in, and there are so many brothers and sisters, also friendly, and start to explain to us many things, ask us to have food and so on, and even arrange food to bring over to the place that we stay for us to eat. So we felt very hospitable on all this. So my question is there affinity? I believe there is, because like what Brother Joe said just now, things happen for a reason. So I could say that this is probably one of the reasons. And then came a dream. After I came back from Hualien, I have a dream. Again, Master looking at me and smiling to me. And that's all only. So I think could it be a reaffirmation of affinity? So this is what I experienced, and this is something that happened for a reason, I suppose. Okay, I guess it's indeed it is. Okay, so after joining and attending more training, getting more used to it, so there was an opportunity to go to overseas for medical mission, because all the while in my younger days, I wanted to attend a medical mission, but I got no opportunity. Firstly, I'm not from a medical profession. Secondly, because of career and so on, there is no opportunity. So came this opportunity, went to Sri Lanka at that time to visit one of the schools to set up the facilities and so on. So in this trip, I probably on the second night or third morning, we were traveling to the school from the hotel, so it takes about 40 minutes. And I was tired because I couldn't sleep well due to some time zone and so on. So I was sitting on the right hand side, putting my head on the glass panel and sleeping. Somehow or other, I suddenly woke up, and I have the habit of looking at scenery. And the minute I look out, the bus was going to hit a cement mixer. and there was a very big metal protruding towards my head, and immediately crashed into the panel. I swerved left, and lucky I did all exercise because reaction is fast enough. And the other brother sitting next to me also moved to our left, and we never fell off. The glass splinters smashed over and dragged the panels all the way to the back. So those shards, those are broken pieces of the glasses. Some hit my hand and my neck and so on. And at the moment, one moment I was shocked, but tried to stay calm. And Dharma brothers and sisters there, they were best encouraging. I said, brother, all right, don't worry, and so on. So I take a deep breath, everything's okay. So then, but the whole face was with all the broken glasses, and my whole shirt was all the broken glasses. And then, and I have a deep thought, okay, why I come here to get all this? So, but I think through faith, it's very important. Faith is something that the Dharma, that what the Buddha said, and what I have been learning from Master, and faith is something that make us know where's our direction, where to walk, and so on, the path. So went back to the school, and then of course that's one of the I'm attended by one of the medic, and to make sure that I'm okay, they helped me to take the tape and then take out all the broken glasses and so on. Still got a lot of pieces there, but I got no other shirt to change. So I continued to do the crowd control because I was the station counter to control. And then by evening, one of the brothers came to pull me to say I must see the doctor. So I went in. There were so many doctors from Taiwan. They're all very, very, very nice and very good. So they start to examine me again, whether do I have any further injury. But along the way, I already pull out some, because some bars pull out some, and then of course there's some blood and so on. Then while I was doing crowd control, I can feel my neck. There's some pain, so I pull out. There's another piece and so on. Okay, so in a way, was feeling that I'm quite blessed because my face, my eye could have gone. So I feel that it's blessed that nothing worse than that happened, except a little bit of blood that came out from my hand. Okay, so you can see that there's a photo, because the doctor asked me to throw away my shirt, and I got no other shirt, so they gave me this suit to wear. So I felt one moment as if I'm a doctor, but I am not. So I just took a photo for memory. The interesting thing is that on the last night, that means about 30 minutes ago, and that was the optical side. We're packing all the equipment. The paper cord, there's a string wrap paper cord, that's quite thick and heavy. Hit on my leg. You can see it swell. So in a way, obstacles. So I recognize that faith is important. I move on. Say, well, that's over. Don't think about it, and just continue with what I'm supposed to do. Okay, so then I have an opportunity to go Hualien in November 2017. Good experience. Having a visit on joining an entrepreneur trip. So different exposure, I would say. So it's quite a good and fun trip, I would say. And then in the meantime, in Singapore, started to attend more some of the Chinese training. There's some English training, but not so much. So I actually attended more Chinese training. And fortunately, my own sister was very encouraging and explained to me a lot what the training materials and all about. So I started to pick up and then start to get used to some of the Dharma words. And when I get to hear the words, I roughly know that, oh, that is the meaning and so on. Okay, so the training is preparing us for what we call it, GNC and Peishin, right? Peishin or GNC, and then after that, the commissioner training 4 and 1. 4 and 1 we had it in Singapore, but then decided we still think that we should go to Taiwan to learn. Okay, so I have a second obstacle. So before going for June, this training, I was diagnosed with sinus growth, and I've been very healthy. I don't have the 3 highs, and every year I go for checkup. Everything was fine. But the last 2-3 years, report wasn't so good, so I went to see a specialist. And then there was sickness. So what should I do? But with a strong faith in the Buddha's teaching, and then continue walk the path. But at the same time, we have to be practical, seek medical treatment. Okay. Listen to what the doctor said. Accept what life is, life move on with life. Okay, so it's a flow. It's a flow that we have to pursue. Then I cannot say I don't want it because it's there, but I cannot sit down there and say because it's there I do nothing. So having a strong faith, having a positive mind, and I have many Dharma brothers and sisters that give me a lot of encouragement. So I was supposed to go for a treatment in May. That was 2019. And before I go to Hualien for 4-in-1 training. So I had 4 weeks of rest. On the day of admission, I was waiting. I was the second patient to go in for treatment. And the doctor came out and said, he called me Mr. Chew. He said, Mr. Chew, I'm very sorry. I cannot do for you the operation today. The machine failed. I was thinking, so, but being calm, being focused, I say, doctor, it's okay. It's not your fault. It's a machine problem. We do it another day. But how? I'm going to Taiwan next month. So he said, you just go for a Taiwan trip and you come back, then you do. But there was no other date. Okay, there was no other date. And there was a day, it's only after I came back, the next day I had to do. So I went to Taiwan for this training, and then I stay back about a week in the Jing airport and to learn and experience a monastic life. Okay, so you can see that I joined the international team for the English training and mixed with many of the other brothers and sisters from Africa, Canada, and Malaysia, and so on. So there's a good mix, and that is very good interaction. And center of the picture, this is not COVID time. We're still very much for hygienic purpose. We're prepare the herbal tea. So the heater was not working, so we're supposed to transfer the water to the tank and then bring it to boil the water. So that was the one. So having staying back for this monastic life, that was a good experience, I would say. And this photo is that the brother next to me, if you're looking at it on your left side, he's very good. He looked after me, and 2 of us had light duty because 2 of us had some sickness. So that's the interesting part. So we stay at the back there and do light duties because I'm preparing to go back for operation. Okay. And interestingly was during the stay, I fell at the dormitory area, and it was like boom, boom, twice, hit my head, very big lump in my shoulder, and when I stood up, I had to stand up myself, and I saw one master standing in front of me and a nurse standing in front of me. He said, "What happened?" I said, "I don't know. I just fell down." And just next to it was a nurse room. So we went in, took the eyes, and tried to let it cool down. Then the nurse attended to my bruises and so on. So today I recovered, but on my left shoulder there's a scar, and there's a lump that grew up, extra fresh, and it looks like a Taiwan map. And the mountain, the lump looks like it's in Hualien. So each time when I took my shower, I do a cleaning, I will see this and remember Hualien. I remember Hualien not because of remembering I fell, remember the experience I gained and the masters that I learned from and so on. So that was a good experience that I have. And then back to Singapore on 23rd night. So I have a friend with a family waited for us, have a dinner until 10 something. Went home, have a quick sleep. The next morning, 7 a.m., I was at the hospital. So Master gave me the blessing. You'll be fine. So I took it positively and went for the treatment. Everything goes well. So I went for further checkup. Last year I went for another biopsy. Everything was fine. So I went into plant-based diet. So now every week, my home sister will cook for me lunch, healthy food. I start to abstain from taking unnecessary food like those that is not going to be helpful for my health. And so far so good, and things are going well, and I still continue to do what I should do. Not to worry about that, because I can't take away the thing, and when you will come, I don't know, but live life as what is today, and don't think about the past. Just live life today, and don't worry about future. Just do what I should do, what path. And okay, so back to Hualien in 2019 to receive the commissioner certificate. So I used to be in a corporate, and we do project management. We say when you commission a project, then the plant can start operating. So is that when I was attending this ceremony, I realized that this meaning of commissioner means when I come back, it means start to, after commissioning means start to operate. Operate means start to do things. And yes, I'm doing, and I aspire to look after the on the education side, the teaching, and but not neglecting visiting homes and so on. Okay, of course we miss going back to Hualien, and we hope that we can go back again one of these days when things are all right. Okay, so like to share is that now what am I doing? As I mentioned, when we commission something, like the plant has to operate. So now I get commission. So okay, I have to find something that I need to do and I would like to do. So I focus on education. Education is because I believe in nurturing the youth. They are the future leaders. So when I was in the Thai Buddhist temple, I was also in the committee, and we do have programs for the youth. So I always have believed that nurturing the youth with the right value is very important. With the right value, and they are in the right path, contribute to the society. Society can be more peaceful, I would say. Okay, so besides doing all this recycling and care recipient, now involved in Tzu Chi, the cost development, the money program. And also, I don't know how to use the English word. I call guardian to teaching. In Chinese, we call Peter Papa, and be their companion, I would say. So then these plus also doing the English volunteer training. So helping out in terms of the education wherever I can. And you can see from here, I have the one of the pictures is one of the Tzu Chi who just joined, and then presenting the Tzu Chi uniform to them. So they in a way that I accompany them, and during the COVID, of course, there are many things that couldn't be done, but that doesn't stop us from doing things online and Zoom. So they started a project we call the Mentoring with Love. So they managed to gather Tzu Chi and non-Tzu Chi from the universities, come together, helping recipients' children to teach them about, help them in terms of tuition, but it's not just tuition, it's more than that. It's because at least help them to build up their confidence, instill some good values to them, and build a bonding with them so that they know that they have someone to turn to, and if they need help and so on. So the teaching, I would say that it's fun with them because it made me look young again. And then sometimes we got to do funny act and dance with them a bit. I'm not good in all this type, but I try my best. And they are all very knowledgeable and very polite, very well mannered. So we find that there's a lot of vibrancy, a lot of energy working with them. So during this COVID, many of the students from Indonesia, Malaysia, they couldn't go back. So what we did is we host them during the Chinese New Year. We hosted them, coming to our house to have a steamboat meal, and to make them feel that they are part of the family here, that they are not left alone, that there is still care and love for them. And we also organize other dinner gathering, including the graduated Tzu Chi. So you can see the photo on a festive charity fair that was done 2 years ago. It's a combination of graduated Tzu Chi and the current Tzu Chi all together. So all happily doing their part in terms of the activities they're doing. So I used to attend a lot of their training, meetings, and giving them words of encouragement, and then give them some advice, and then sometimes they want to get an opinion, so we're there for them. And then of course I do recycling also. This photo was the recycling after the recycling. So we got quite a number of new people who never knew about recycling, and our center is catered for English-speaking volunteers who like to know more about recycling. So we provide education for them to understand more about what is recycling and all about what is 5R and so on. And then I'd like to share stories on care recipient visit. That is something very touching. What I have learned from that is more about what I have learned. I for confidential purpose of due respect to care recipient, I will not say all the names and so on. Yeah, there's one recipient who look after an aged mother, and then every month hospitalized at least once. So she's a care recipient. She's a caregiver in a sense that she look after the mother. So from a stranger to someone who would tell me about her condition, and she even have sicknesses that she got to go through, and we lend our encouragement and support to them. So although her mother couldn't talk much when we visited, but we care more about the caregiver also. And then with that kind of condition that she was in, she has confidence after some months, and not long after that, the mother passed on. And then I visited her. I say, do you need us to continue to visit you, to talk to you, and so on? She said, no need. You help people who need more help than me now, because now I can go back to work. So it is something that over the time of building the bonding with them, they also understand that Tzu Chi is not only giving love and care to people, but we are also trying our best to reach out to as many as possible. So they know that there are more people who are less fortunate. So they say, no need to look after me anymore. But I open up for her. I say, if there's any issue, kindly let me know. So there's another case about a mother who looked after two daughters. The daughter is about 41 years old. After about 10 over months, she got fever, and she was handicapped all the way until today. Today she has diabetes. And the second daughter, who is 21 years old, has we call it a delayed global development. So although she was an adult, but she had a 1-2-year-old child. So I visited with other sisters every month, and from a stranger we talked, and then I used to bring rubber band to make aeroplane, make stars, to let the little girl to pay attention to us, and she likes to hear us talk. And feel we give them encouragement, because when they come over, when we go over to visit, they welcome us very well. And when we want to leave, they feel very sad. So sometimes we try to sit a little bit longer. But due to COVID, we also cannot sit too long. But then the most touching part was when 2-3 months ago, the mother talked to me. They said, now the mother sometimes call me a brother, and say, brother, I want to share with you. Although I have these 2 children, I never regretted. I never felt unhappy because of them. I just know one thing: care for them. Although my body is ache and tired, but I know I have to continue to care for them. And her only worry was after her, who is going to look after. So luckily she got a son who promised, take an oath, say she will look after the youngest sister. So there is an assurance for her, but she's still worried. But then I told her, I say, you are very strong. In fact, we learn from you your courage and what you are facing. So although she has a different religious belief, I believe that she's practicing equanimity. And that is something that we also try to practice, but sometimes we find it so hard to practice. So something that this is I really learned from visiting homes and so on. In fact, there are many other experiences, but I'll just share these two. In the future, there's other opportunity I can share a little bit more. Okay. So in the meantime, what do I do? How do I practice the Buddha's teaching? So I have to be very honest. I'm someone not good in academics of Dharma. So I can't quote many quotes and many of the what teaching. I'm very poor in this. But I focus on the key areas that I would like to apply in the daily life. So sometimes we start from something simple. Everybody start from somewhere. So I start from very simple because we read over and over again. But each time we read again, we have a different understanding, different. After we experience certain things, we look at the perspective very differently. So we actually learn from that. Although we listen to masters teaching, some teaching may be the same, but each time we listen, we feel there's a different meaning towards that. And so that's something very important because we can't be saying, oh, I've heard already, so I don't want to listen. So I don't believe in that. Even I have a very old Dharma book, I will still read it again because those are the fundamentals that we have to always remind ourselves. So I always remember what the Buddha said and what Master has been telling us. The three roots of evil: greed, hatred, and delusion. And with these three can lead us to so many other things: jealousy, anger, and breaking all the precepts, and then have a lot of mental afflictions, and all this comes in. So then the next thing is remembering that what the Buddha said, the Four Noble Truths, which I just shared with the sinners. So that is something I have experienced and gone through. And of course, this is just a very small part. There are many things that we are going through that we don't know. And what we are going to face in the future, we also don't know. But at least we know the teaching. We know how to walk the path. So the Noble Eightfold Path is a very good guide for us. That right view, right thought, and right action, and all this. All these are very good guiding principle for us, together with the precepts. And interestingly, I used to learn only 5 precepts. So when I went to Tzu Chi, the first day when I visited Hualien, I saw the sign at the sideway there, 10 precepts. So I started to read, wow, these 10 precepts. Okay, so after a while, I understood, okay, why Master added 5 more precepts. And of course, those precepts are very good. I would say that my home sister, after joining Tzu Chi, she gave up buying 4D. So and I also give up buying. So we used to have some fun, buy a bit, and but now we don't look forward to that. We just feel that why not we save the money and help the poor? Okay, although we have been helping, but we can do a little bit more. So this, I think, it helps us. So the precepts is a guiding principle for us also. And I always believe the other one is the 4 infinite meanings. That's the loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. And I mentioned just now, equanimity is something not so easy to practice because we have our jealousy with us, our hatred with us. So if we see someone so successful in a company, get promoted, what should I do? Congratulate, or in a heart say, wow, why is you, why is not me? So we are practicing equanimity. We will say, well, I'm happy for you, and so on. So there are many simple ways that we can practice. So I always remember what the Master has been. Master's teaching has been talking a lot about the 4 infinite meanings. So much to learn from. So each time when we listen, we recall, and step by step, build it into ourselves, and then able to practice. And then, of course, the more complex one is the dependent origination, the 12 links, which is the expansion of the 4 Noble Truths. So that is something not so easy to understand, but at least we know that there's this cause and effect, the karma that link to where we are today. So this guiding principle, in a way, charting us to a right path. So walking the path and then leading to a more valuable and peaceful life. So when we don't have so much mental affliction, we practice equanimity, we have love, we have compassion, we have sympathetic joy when we see people like I see the care recipient that they walk out, they started to also give. We are very happy for them. So it's a kind of joy that we experience. Something that I cannot express in terms of value, but qualitatively, yes, it is something that that we can learn from. And then that will bring us to have a more peaceful life. At the end of the day, everyone else wants to be peaceful and happy. So important point is, Master always say, 多用心. So be mindful always, but it's not easy, I know. So what I normally do is I try to do reflections. Reflection will help us in a way that what have I done wrong? Can I improve? Okay, if it is good, can I do a bit better out of that, and so on. So we are never perfect. There's always somewhere to pick up that we can do better. That's my belief. Always learning. And then with that, I just like to end this slide with this the quote, because to me time is very important. Like what Master has been saying, 来不及, and I've gone through challenges, obstacles, and of course there are more childhood experience that obstacles I've gone through which I didn't share. And the time once lost, it will come back. It won't go back to us. So then we have to take responsibility of time. Treasure every moment that we have. Treasure what we do at Tzu Chi, treasure our family life, treasure every moment that we can do something that is purposeful and useful. Then take charge of our life meaningfully, not letting bad habitual tendency control. So we have a lot of bad habits. So sometimes be mindful, we call back, oh, I'm going to control a little bit of this habit, control a little bit of the habit. Can I do away with the habit? Because habits is not easily go off. It may take 21 days based on expert, but may not be 21 days, maybe more than that, maybe whole life can't even get rid of it. So, but we have to be mindful to say, oh, these are the habits. So how am I going to not to let it happen, and then be able to take charge of our life more meaningfully, and then make values all the time to manage and balance it well between family, career, social life, and working path. See, the thing is, we are householders, we are lay people, so we have commitment with family, career, and social life, working path. But how best we can put it together? So this was the initial doubt that I have, is that if I join Tzu Chi, am I able to cope up? If I don't cope up, I feel bad because I promised the Dharma brothers and sisters and I don't do it. It's very bad. But then at the same time, am I able to balance it? Am I able to give up something? Okay, so yeah, what we give up is watching shows in the night. So now, home sister and I, literally we won't watch shows. I only watch educational materials or listen to master's teaching, and of course, I'm in the profession of education. I need to read a lot of current affairs. That's something that I have to manage it. So in a way, so far so good, coping up, and so on. And then hope every one of us will grow in life, grow in compassion, and grow in wisdom. So there's an aphorism saying that a wasted day is worth less than a meaningful second. So 1 second doing something purposeful is better than idling a full day and doing nothing, and the day just gone, the time just gone, and cannot go back. Okay, so these are the simple areas that how I practice, how I remind myself, how I reflect, and how I contemplate, and to hope that I can grow more and more. So with that, thank you for your attention, everybody. May you be well, happy, and peaceful.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for Brother KianLee for your sharing. I hope you can hear my voice. Everyone can hear my voice?
Yes, I can hear.
Okay, good.
Yes.
So, okay, good morning to everyone. So really very insightful sharing from Brother KianLee. I just now when I first listened to this, it was saying that Your first time you met Tzu Chi is at Ching Book and Cafe, and the volunteer was spending half a day to explain what is Tzu Chi. So I can see the passionate and the patience of that volunteer for you. And I hope next time you will do the same as other people as well. And also, you have also picked up the initiative to speak English and to learn Mandarin. In fact, as we can see that language is not really the obstacle for us to learn in Tzu Chi as well, because when you come to this organization, you can feel that a lot of people also have different languages, but that love is more important, because great love can comprise everybody together. And just now, when you talk about the medical mission in Sri Lanka, you have the accident and leg injury. That is what always Master told us, that we should be mindful for every moment so that we can have a safety life, because everyone who have injured or having any things happen during the Tzu Chi missions, Master will felt that it's her, she would like to, how should I say, because she would like everyone to really take care for yourself. So please do so as well, and always be mindful. And just now you also explained that, in fact, your life full of challenges. So this is important, but because of you have faith. Faith is very important. When you have faith in your mind, you will overcome all the obstacles as well. And finally, you had got your commissioner on November 2019. Of course, now you have to do a lot of commitment, focus on the education, because nurturing the youth is very important. And I can see in Singapore, no matter in Singapore, Malaysia, or any other places, there is a lot of youth that we can, in fact, to encourage them to grow out and become a future leader. Of course, we can see that for the care recipient, as we can see for the care recipient visit, you have learned a lot as well. And also for me, I will say that by cultivating compassion, in fact, it can also boost out our immune system as well. So we can treasure it every moment that we have. And I really appreciate that, although you say you're not good in economic of Dharma, but what you have practicing is, in fact, that you have already put the Dharma into the action. Just like our Master Cheng always say that actions speak louder than words. So this is really important. Like do good, avoid evil, purify our mind. It's three simple things, but we have to do it every second. So we have cultivate our thoughts on this way. So I really thanks and grateful that you have made that commitment, and then you can take that responsibility to join in, and then to also pick up all this in your Tzu Chi mission. So I hope that every moment that you have speak on will be a successful one, and I hope every time everyone will be more mindful. 多用心, as our Master Cheng always tell us. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
感恩 Master DeHuang, yeah, 多用心 indeed. Very grateful for all the wonderful sharing today. 感恩 Master DeHuang, Master DeHuang. We understand also that there are other masters accompanying Master Chi and Master Jing. Very grateful, and of course to Brother Huang. Despite all very packed with activities, we are very grateful to our Hualien teachers for guiding us.感恩 Sister Lily and the team, Sister Li Chu, Sister Michelle, Sister Riani, and Sister Epi. And of course, our Brother Candy, the ever diligent brother. Very grateful to brother for the wonderful, great insights.感恩 brothers and sisters for your great support and your presence. Hope that each of us could sustain the Dharma joy and take in another piece of Dharma Master and Hualien love to our life.